and DeFi in our protocol. We are building decentralized notifications, as you just came to know. But yeah, we are not here to talk about our product. We are here to talk about what went into creating our product and why game theory and DeFi are particularly the most innovative tools of 2020. So yeah, let me just get started. Yeah, so this will be more about modules, as in what is game theory, what is DeFi, and then the entire presentation. We will try to walk you around real life examples, and then probably show you how we have used these segments in our protocol, and how you can use these segments and create your own innovative protocol or any application. So yeah, getting started, what is game theory? Well, yeah, a lot of people give game theory a lot of complex names, but it's quite simple. In fact, if you are aware, most of the time when you are interacting with someone, you are interacting with a certain set of rules, and they basically form game theory. So simply put, it's just the process of modeling the strategic interaction between two or more players that essentially results in a win-win scenario, or at least one win-win scenario. If you are able to do that, of course, you have a very cool game theory. Some of the examples for this would be the services you have, the ISPs you have, the internet service provider. So you are paying them, and they are giving you service. So in essence, it's also a game theory, but something which is very, very simple. And and that's actually the entire point of game theory. It's really simple if you think about it, and if you break it into modules. So designing game theory, you just need to keep three things in mind. The first is incentivizing good behavior. As I said, game theory is almost everywhere, and you go through it in your day-to-day interaction. So an example of incentivizing good behavior, of course, is money. Money is a very good motivator. And a very good example over here is organizations when they offer you a job. So in terms of this example, if you do a great job in getting your roles and responsibilities done in the organization, then you might be promoted and your salary might be increased. So again, this is the incentivization part, or incentivizing good behavior. The organization wants you to do a good job, and in return, they are giving you a salary hike or even a promotion. So over here also, you can see that, money is not the only motivator for incentivizing any good behavior. There can be other means as well. That can be social rep. It can be promotion, as I have just said. Another good example is, which doesn't follow organization rules, is the Twitter platform. So Twitter, what do they want to achieve? They want to achieve good content by their users. And the users, what do they want to do? They want their voice to be heard. So Twitter incentivizes good behavior by you whenever you tweet something out. And if their algorithm finds that the tweet which you have tweeted is liked by a lot of people, then Twitter will essentially start showing it to more and more people. So again, an example of incentivizing good behavior, but at the same time, this doesn't involve money. Of course, the second aspect of game theory is penalizing the bad actors. And that is important because in essence, you are creating an ecosystem wherein you want everybody to win. And if bad actors are in the ecosystem, they will try to destroy it. So how do you prevent that? Well, now essentially you define a set of rules by which these bad actors can be penalized or be taken out of your ecosystem. Uh, Again, with the same example, organization. If you do a bad job, of course, you'll be demoted and your salary might be cut. If you do a really worse job than that, or if you just stop performing, you might be fired. So over here, you have the penalizing section, uh, which basically means that the organization and their game theory, they don't want you to not deliver on your roles and responsibility. And if you don't listen to them, of course, they're going to take some action for it. Same with Twitter. Again, if you roll out a tweet that is offensive, Twitter might not show it to everyone. If you keep on engaging in that behavior, Twitter might even ban you for 12 hours. Or essentially, if you still don't stop, Twitter might ban you for life from their platform, which essentially means they don't want you in the ecosystem. So yeah, that's the second aspect of game theory which you need to keep in mind. And the last one is ensuring at least one win-win scenario. So, and this is very important. Uh, uh, Again, example with the organization. The organization wins if their job is done, if what they want to define or if they want to achieve, they are able to achieve that, and they can only achieve that through you as their employers. And for employees, the win-win scenario is that if they are engaging in good behavior, or if they are engaging and playing by the rules of that ecosystem, they needs to be motivated and kept happy. And to do that, organization can promote them and increase their salary. So there's a win-win scenario in which the organization also wins as well as the employees. Again, in the Twitter ecosystem, they want good quality or good content tweets from the users so their platform can expand. And as a user, you want your voice to be heard. So there is a win-win scenario wherein if you keep on rolling good content, you will be able to reach more and more users. And of course, for Twitter, all they want is good content. So they are already winning in this game theory. So yeah, that's actually in essence is the entire game theory. Just have to remember three rules: incentivizing good behavior, penalizing bad actors, and ensuring one win-win scenarios. Uh, so yeah, let's look at some of the examples. As I said, game theory can be realized or observed almost everywhere. Let's look at the real world scenario of no man's land. So this is a picture between a battle between Britain and Germany. This was World War One, and of course they were on the opposite sides, Britain and Germany, and they were fighting. But yeah, along came the Christmas Eve, and all of a sudden these two sides or these two enemies, they became friends, and they started or they celebrated the Christmas Eve together. They exchanged gift. They were not keeping an eye on the enemy because at that point of time they were now friends. Uh, Over here, you can also see game theory playing a huge part, incentivizing good behavior. So the good behavior part was that if each of the side they are able to make sure that they follow the rules and uh, they are basically ceasefiring for a day, then each one of them can just get together and just for one day they can just be at peace and be merry. The opposite side or the penalizing of the bad actors was in this point was an alternate scenario wherein they had to be in their bunker, they had to keep a watch on the enemy, and of course not celebrate their festival. Not a very good alternative. And of course, there was a win-win scenario for both of the players, wherein each one of them they were able to live at least one stress less day at that point of time. So as you can see over here, the game theory really worked because these two enemies, despite having orders from above, they became friends and they celebrated Christmas Eve. Taking it up a notch to the digital world, even Bitcoin follows a very, very cool game theory. So I'm not going to go into a lot of technicalities as to what is Bitcoin, but essentially, if I have to define Bitcoin at a very simplistic level, it's just a piece of software which is run on a computer. And if a lot of computer or a lot of users run this piece of software, then essentially these software, they talk to each other and they maintain a immutable ledger, which can then be used to track cryptocurrency movement or the digital money movement. So yeah, again, over here, the game theory, incentivizing good behavior. So over here, the incentivizing part for the Bitcoin was that Bitcoin wanted users to run its software on their computer. Otherwise, Bitcoin will not be Bitcoin. And that was the win scenario for Bitcoin. For the users, however, there was no win scenario. I mean, if you're running a software on your computer, which is going to use your bandwidth, which is going to eat up your size, uh, and you're not getting paid for it in any way, then would you run it? I mean, it's very akin to you opening up your house for a house guest or a tenant, but not charging rent. I don't think anyone of us will do that. And that was a problem with Bitcoin as well. I mean, for Bitcoin, the win scenario was, of course, users running its software. But for the users, there was no incentivization part. And that's where Satoshi Nakamoto, who is a pseudo anonymous name for the person or a group of people who designed Bitcoin, they came up with a game theory that what if these people who are running our software, uh, when they actually are contributing to the ecosystem, what if we start paying them in Bitcoin, which is going to be a digital currency once in a while, thereby making sure that we are compensating for their bandwidth, for their cost, and of course for being early adopters. And that is where the incentivizing good behavior rule was satisfied. Penalizing bad actors, it's a bit different over here, but and it's actually very clever. So when Bitcoin was created, of course, the people behind them, they knew that the computing power which Bitcoin will have right now, or in the beginning, is going to be very minimal. And uh, for as and when the network becomes better and better, the computing power will increase. So in the early stages, of course, they don't want supercomputers to run this Bitcoin software on, because of course no normal user will have access to it, and neither the motivation to run something on the supercomputer, which is essentially which hasn't even essentially gained the form of money or digital money. But yeah, as time move on, and if Bitcoin becomes popular, uh, of course, the money or the tangible asset will be attached to it. And at that point of time, it makes sense that the computing power required to run the Bitcoin software is increased a lot, because otherwise any hacker can just hire a computing power from AWS or some other means and just try to disrupt the entire system. And that is where the penalizing of the bad actors came into effect, uh, which is basically that the mining difficulty or the computational power requirement of the Bitcoin software, it increases or decreases based on the computation power available for the Bitcoin network. So in the early days, it might have taken $10,000 to disrupt the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. But at that point of time, of course, no one has was motivated to do it because there was no when there was a no there was no there was no incentive for these people to do it. And when Bitcoin became big, because the computational difficulty adjusts as more and more computation power is given to the Bitcoin network, right now, to hack or to compromise the Bitcoin blockchain, it would probably cost millions and millions in revenue, or in millions and millions of dollars to take that amount of computing power by just a single person to disrupt the Bitcoin blockchain. So you have the penalizing part over here as well, albeit in a different way. And of course, we already spoke about the win-win scenario wherein Bitcoin needs these users to run the software, and when these users they are running the software, they are converting Bitcoin itself, making sure that both of the players in the ecosystem wins. And of course, the game theory worked because we can see Bitcoin is at the top of cryptocurrency, and it's talked about oh so often now. So yeah, that was just a little bit about game theory. Uh, let's just jump to DeFi or decentralized finance. Uh, Again, it's very simple. People might people might make it sound like rocket science, but again, decentralized finance. It's actually in the name. Finance on blockchain is basically decentralized finance. So think about anything which you do from your bank, which is interest or lending or borrowing. When these happen on blockchain, they are called DeFi or decentralized finance. Uh, in other words, any smart contract or a digital asset that can enable these financial tools or financial services on blockchain, we call them decentralized finance. So about DeFi. So and this is actually quite an important topic to talk about, because most of the people, they feel that why Bitcoin is needed or why DeFi is needed when we already have money that is working. And no, this is a little bit there is a little bit of misunderstanding between users when they are thinking in those aspects, because even the money we have right now, the paper money is also in iteration number 3. So we have to learn, or we have to look back at the history of money to realize that money has been changing, or it's a ever-changing concept. It doesn't mean that the previous money became unusable, or the newer iteration was created to destroy the previous iteration of the money. It just means that the newer iteration of money can do things which was not really possible with previous iteration of money. So I'm sure most of you would be aware of this paper money being iteration 3, and you know before that money was backed by gold reserves. And of course, that was a previous situation, and a lot of government realized that the amount of money they need in the economy, they cannot just make it align with the gold reserves. And instead, they switched to money backed by the government, or in government we trust, which is iteration 3. Iteration 2 was backed by gold. You know, Going even further than that, 400 or 500 years before that, there was no paper money. It was gold coins, and of course, gold coins, they were heavier to carry. Uh, there were a lot of problems with them when you were transacting as we progressed, and that's why paper money took over, because paper money you could carry, you can transact, you can get a service done really really soon. But that doesn't stop gold to be still used as a currency, albeit in a very albeit in a lower fashion than it was supposed to. It was used back in the days. And that's the entire point, or that was the entire point of paper money, which was to become a better form of money. Uh, so with paper money, of course, whenever I want to have a service, I go to a service provider. I ask them what will they charge me for this particular service. Those service provider will probably tell me that I'll charge you 100 rupees for getting something done, or 1,000 rupees. And I will hand them my paper money, and then in return they will do whatever service they have promised. And that was paper money. And uh, after paper money, we kind of forget that there was one more innovation or iteration of money that happened, and that was plastic money or credit cards. So before credit cards, of course, whenever I was going to the service provider, I was giving them the exact amount of paper money required for the service. But along came credit cards, and things became a lot more simpler or harder, depending on how you want to look at it. But all of a sudden, banks came in and they said, "Hey, this is our card. Instead of going to the service provider and paying them in full, you can just swipe this card out, and we will pay the service provider on your behalf." So it doesn't even matter if you have that amount of paper money for a service. If you want a service, you can just swipe our credit card. We'll take care of it, and in return, you can return us back the money in 12 months or 5 years or so on. So this was actually a huge leap of innovation from paper money. Uh, Not only because it kind of enabled all the consumers to go and try out services which they wouldn't have been able to try. And again, it also opened up avenues which was not possible with paper money. I'm talking about online payments. I'm talking about Netflix. So imagine, if each of the cities had Netflix offices, and everyone had to go and queue up with their paper money whenever their subscription expired. Of course, I don't think that would have worked really well, either for us or for Netflix. But yeah, credit card simplified that, and that's the next innovation, or that was the innovation that happened after paper money. They enabled money to do things which was not possible before. Just like that, just like credit card, how they enabled things which was not possible to do with paper money. DeFi is the next innovation in terms of money. So DeFi basically enables people to do things which are not even possible with credit cards or paper money. And that's why, we need DeFi. So again, I'm very keen, and I like to give a lot of examples. So uh, there's an example of DeFi which is called flash loans. And I mean, the concept is so mind-boggling, but yeah, it's so intriguing. Example, let's talk about the flash loan concept, which is based on DeFi. And that is something which credit card or paper money cannot provide. So basically, flash loan means that you can take a zero collateral loan. So in essence, you can take hundreds of thousands of dollars or you can borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars from any lenders without putting anything up for collateral. And the beauty of flash loan is that because they are built on blockchain, the way it works is that whenever you take these 100,000 dollars as loan, you are taking this loan in a function call of a smart contract. And with the nature of blockchain, it's with the nature of blockchain, there's this thing which is basically a rule in blockchain, that either a function will be executed totally, and that will be included in the blockchain, and that means that everything will be updated at that point of time, or a function will error out, and of course, it will not be included in the blockchain. You can think about it like how we have atomic transactions in SQL. That's actually a very good example. So yeah, Flash loan, again, along came DeFi and Flash loan. So Flash loan, in essence, you can borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can do whatever you want to do with that. You can arbitrage it or whatever you want to do. And then before you are closing this function, you have to return that amount back to the lender along with some interest. And this entire thing is basically one big function. So either the entire function will execute, which means that the lender got his money back along with the interest, or the entire thing will fail, which essentially means that the lender never gave you any money to begin with. And that is why, Flash loan is called a zero collateral loan. And that is not something you can probably do with credit cards or paper money. So yeah, that's one of the innovation which DeFi enables. That is not really possible with the normal versions of money. And that actually brings me to uh, summarizing what is DeFi. So again, it's a decentralized finance, but it's also a set of APIs or a set of money legos which you can just pull and build your own solution. So for example, the Flash loan solution, you're borrowing something, you're doing whatever you want to do, and you are returning it back to the lender. The borrowing and returning it back to the lender, it's DeFi, while the Flash loan or whatever contract you are executing in between, that's the innovation which you have. But because of DeFi, you were or we were able to invent Flash loans, and uh, kind of give one more tool to the financial world. So yeah, that's what DeFi does, and that's what DeFi enables. This actually brings me to our product and what we are and what we do. And so yeah, as I said, we are Ethereum push notification service. But what I didn't tell you guys was that while we deliver decentralized notifications, that's not the coolest part of our project. The coolest part is that you, as a user, you get to earn from these notifications. And of course, we do it by following the game theory and DeFi. And that was the meaning of going through the entire concept. So yeah, why it's needed? Well, it's needed because Web3 doesn't have notifications, and it's a very weird concept to have, because even the Zoom call was a notification which came to me, and that was from a Web2 or the traditional service. But when you are going to blockchain, these things, they don't exist. We like to compare it with the likes of 2004 when Gmail was just launched, or when Orkut was there. And we, as a user, we were expected to go to these different services time and time again and see our actions, and maybe reply to our friends. And then after 6 hours or 4 hours or 2 days, we return back and see what were the actions. But that is not really the norm in this day and age right now. Everything is notification. When you have a call, a FaceTime call or a WhatsApp call, that's a notification. When your payments are made, that's a notification. When your friend likes something, that's a notification. That surprisingly was absent in Web3. And that is what we went ahead and invented. So yeah, in essence, we call ourselves the missing piece of Web3. And what we do is we are enabling or building a decentralized communication layer that any dApp or smart contract can interact to and send notification out to almost any platform, whether it's mobile, whether it's tablet, whether it's Chrome browser, or your user wallets like MetaMask and Trust. And the reason why we are doing that is, of course, because we want to bring the Web2 experience to Web3. And of course, the solution, I was just talking about that. So yeah, we are platform agnostic. We enable notifications to user wallets, because in Web3 users are basically user wallets and everything is serverless. And yeah, the coolest part is that you as a user, you are in total control, and not only you receive notifications, but for the first time you are earning crypto from them as well. So yeah, at this point of time, I think I can probably try to see if I can give you guys a quick demo of what we do. But yeah, the important use cases, we can be used anywhere, whether it's DeFi, whether it's gaming, NFT, or lottery, whether it's Web 3.0 services. If you're coming to Web3 or if you're the Web3 users, of course, communication is the most important thing for user engagement. And that's what we are here to do. So yeah, just to give you a brief overview of how it works. So I've just mirrored my phone over here. Just for this one. So again, as I said, this is built on top of our protocol. Any other mobile app or any other DApp or any other smart contract can build as well. Users our wallet address. So I just scanned the wallet address of Richa. Let me just see if I have internet connectivity. Uh, all right. Yeah. Now again, security, just the basic standard. And that's it. Uh, you're all set to receive notifications and, you know, for any one of you who have interacted with a Web3 app or with a smart contract or with Aave or Uniswap, here is what we can do to make it easier. So, and this is a funny example. So Aave is sending me a liquidation alert or sending a liquidation alert to the Just Wallet address. But before EPNS, this was actually not the case. Uh, you know, it's very weird to realize that in the traditional world, whenever you're foreclosed or whenever your loan expires, the bank will send out notices to you. But that is completely absent in Web3. So if you are liquidated, unless you as a user, you're returning back to the service to keep on checking what's the status of your loan, you will not even be notified. So that is what we are solving. Another thing which we are solving is, of course, we are making content independent notifications. So this decentralized middleware which we are building, it can take in essence any notifications. As I said, notifications can also be a FaceTime call. So imagine in the future a decentralized video notifications popping up, and that is exactly what we'll enable through the EPNS ecosystem or EPNS protocol of ours. In this example, of course, Richa's blockchain domain is about to expire, so ENS can just send us a alert. uh, a lot of governance proposal happens. Robin is also here. He has written an excellent article about how we can really revolutionize decentralized governance. But yeah, if we were there in YAM time, we could have saved YAM. Uh, and yeah, the last example is again, because of the content independent nature, we are not just limited to sending images or text. We can send any type of content. And this is what we are doing. So right now you're seeing a notification that is actually coming from blockchain through our protocol, uh, getting delivered to all centralized and decentralized carriers. And not only this video notification is coming, this is a live video broadcast, which you are seeing from, which is coming from blockchain. So yeah, the game theory. So we spoke about incentivizing the user. And this is where the game theory and DeFi comes in really handy. So again, the win-win scenario, if you're talking about game theory, we have services as one of our players and user as another. Now, services, they want to send notification out, and that's a win scenario for them. And they are incentivized to do so because, of course, they want to communicate with the users. And users, of course, they are again incentivized to receive these notifications because, again, if your loan is expiring, you, of course, would want to check it. But we went a bit further, and we said that let's introduce one more incentivization for the user, because again, this is a user-centric protocol, and that is where the staking lending interest of DeFi comes in handy. In essence, the services, whenever or before they can send a notification out to the user, they have to stake some amount of crypto in our protocol. This is totally refundable, but it is just used to make sure that this service is serious to send notifications to the user, and it is also used to ensure that the users are rewarded for their engagement. So what we do is when these service they stake their crypto, we lend it out through one of the DeFi protocol, which is Aave, and in essence that starts generating interest. Now, this interest, when it comes back to the protocol, what we do is whoever who is a user has opted in to receive notification from this particular service, they essentially get a part of that interest as well. So this is how we are incentivizing the entire behavior, and we are making sure that the users are earning from receiving notifications as well. So yeah, that's essentially one of the ways by which you can use game theory and DeFi to create almost any sort of new product, which might be an innovation or an invention uh, from the previous Web 2.0 product, which is what we have done with EPNS, and which is what you can do with whatever project you want to integrate the game theory or DeFi with. Uh, a little bit of boasting doesn't hurt anyone. So yeah, we are very proud of the entire journey, especially Ethereum Foundation, Gitcoin, featuring an ETH, and of course DeFi Dad. We also have grants from Matic and Aave. Lastly, this game theory and DeFi, it was taught to us by brilliant people, including Vivek Singh, who's a co-founder of Gitcoin, Andy Tudhope, who basically taught us the entire theory, and of course, Sachin Metal of Gitcoin. Uh, One of the coolest way by which you can really interact with and go deeper into the game theory is by following this link. Richa will probably be pasting this link in the chat right now. But yeah, we heavily recommend that you go through it, and this game basically you choose what game theory you want to decide, what incentivizations you want to provide, and it will just simulate what will be the outcome, and it just make sure that you are having a better understanding of the entire concept. Lastly, we are open to question and answers, and of course, feel free to follow us on Telegram and Twitter. We really like hanging out and discussing anything related to EPNS or blockchain in general in our Telegram. And of course, on Twitter, you can follow our project's progress as well as what we are up to. And I think I can open us up for questions at this point. So let me just. Awesome. uh, how we can practically implement game theory mechanism in our equilibrium for ensuring rational behavior and proper incentivization. So yeah, that's actually a very good question. Uh, so practically implementing the game theory, again, you are going to define the rules. You have to understand that there needs to be a win-win scenario for everyone. uh, it cannot be tilted for it cannot be tilted to prefer someone or the other. Even if it is tilted, you have to tilt it for the users, because services, they would love to interact with the users, and users form the entirety of your ecosystem. uh, to ensure rational behavior and proper incentivization, again, you have to talk to a lot of people. This is not something which we came out with our own as well. We have to thank a lot of community members and a lot of users with whom we kind of sat down and we kind of went through the entire thing, what we want to do, how we want to reward, and this is what we are trying to do. And we try to get their thoughts and inputs. You have to be open to their thoughts and inputs. Just don't tell them that this is something that we designed. What do you think about it? Uh, a better way is having 4 or 5 people whenever you're building a project or whatever protocol you're building, and just telling them that these are the features we are planning. How do you feel about these features? Whether you as a user have any suggestions for us, and you just keep on compiling it. It's called actually user synthesis, but that will help a lot. Of course, the link which Richa shared for the game, it also talks about how the ecosystem, when it's early, the game theory can be drastically different than what the ecosystem will become in the end, and what game theory you want to have at that point of time. So again, I think the only thing I can tell you about this is that keep on talking to users, keep on listening, uh, be emotionally attached to the product, but more emotionally attached to whatever your users are saying, because a lot of time when we are building something, we get attached to it, and we keep on obsessing over it so much that we don't realize that there are certain things that can be done better if we listen to our users. So yeah, that's a advice I'll have for you.
Participants, if you have any queries, please unmute and ask your query.
So I think Meenakshi has a question. Uh, uh, so Meenakshi, just let me know if you can, if you're able to unmute your mic, or if you have. Uh,
Audience, I am requesting if you have any questions regarding the session, please unmute and shoot your question.
no worries, Meenakshi, and thanks, Vipin. Uh, So let me just share the game to everyone, and of course, our oh, uh, Dr. Jubilant had already done that for us. Thank you. So, guys, let me know. I mean, whether it's game theory, whether it's blockchain, whether it's anything in between. I and Richa, we would love to talk about it.
Yeah, and just want to add that if in case you have any questions, you can just reach out to us on Twitter or Telegram, or if you can share our email IDs, I think that would be great as well.
Sure. Is any algorithm used for game theory? So not really. Uh, I mean, yes and no. You can use a sum game algorithm, uh, but again, there's no, because you are building a product, and it will have so many use cases or so many scenarios which you will only be able to envision. So there will not be a algorithm anytime soon, unless GPT-4 occurs. Uh, that will create a game theory for you. It's more like understanding what is the game theory, and then talking to people, and inching towards perfection. You will know once you are getting there, because the user feedback, it will turn more positive. People will get excited about it. That is the time that you are doing it quite right. Is any algorithm used for this game theory? How this because will work with bitcoins? Uh, okay, I'm not very good with acronyms. I don't know what BC means. I mean, for Bitcoin, again, the game theory was designed to promote their own form of good behavior, which was that uses running software, they avoid it. For other protocols, it can be different. For example, Uniswap, people are rewarded when they add to their liquidity pool, because they are into lending and swapping, and all the other related DeFi aspect. So it makes sense that they incentivize users who provide them with the liquidity to do so. So again, it really depends on different protocol, and yeah. Thanks, Robin. Research avenues in game theory plus blockchain. I really don't have an answer for this yet, but yeah, I think there will be a lot. Maybe if you can connect with me later on TG or on email, I'll definitely share that out. Uh, how the APN is a standout among other notification providers. So that's the thing. There is no other notification providers in Web3. We are actually the inventors of decentralized notifications. We are the first one who is building this communication layer, and we are quite happy about it. At the same time, we also feel that we were quite lucky to be at the right place at the right time. uh, but yeah, uh, at this point of time, we are basically the inventors of decentralized notification. Sure, Kamogna.
I think we are done with the questions. Is there any other questions from the audience side? Participants can unmute their microphone, and if they want to interact, you can do that. You're free to do that. So I hope there are no more questions. So thank you so much, Harsh, for your wonderful session, because we got really a great insight on how this EPMS and game theory works, and all about this game theory and DeFi. Thank you so much for your session. We are
Thanks
really
a ton, Sanya, and thanks Saintgits for having us. We really had fun in the entire presentation.
Thank you, Harsh.
thank
Thank you
Harsh.
for coming
Thank you
on.
so much.
Thanks, Dr. Sukunden. So, okay, all right, Saintgit. Thanks, Sanya. Guys, in case you have any other questions, feel free to just reach out to us on Telegram or Twitter. Always happy to brainstorm and try to help. With that, bye for now. And yeah, have a great day.
Thank you, Harsh. Thank you.
Thanks.
So we have come to the end of our session today. Tomorrow, a whole new bunch of sessions are waiting for us. Tomorrow, we'll be having a session by Dr. Robert Laidlaw, where he will be dealing with the real-world applications of blockchain technology in healthcare, followed by a SOTU demo by Mr. Ajmal Ahmed, who is a blockchain developer in Panasonic. That will be a 3-hour SOTU demo, where you will be given a hands-on training and experience on Hyperledger SOTU. Followed by the applications of blockchain and philanthropy and blockchain